CNN has obtained this surveillance video that appears to show the same suspect chasing his neighbor with a metal bat just minutes before he went to the Democratic Congressman Gerry Connolly's district office. After what you see happening here, where he is chasing that woman, police say the suspect then drove to Congressman Connolly's office. It's about 6 miles away from where this took place. The congressman says that the bat-wielding man attacked his intern, who was on her first day at the job at the front desk, and then also struck a senior aide in the head.
Crazy footage, as you'll see, from this suspect who was chasing a neighbor around with a bat right before he used that same bat. And as maybe you've heard on Monday, Representative Gerry Connolly, his office was then attacked, and an aide was hit, and then the new intern, I believe on her first or second day, was also attacked in that office. There's a little bit more coverage from CNN talking about this. They did catch up with Representative Connolly and asked him how this whole thing went down, especially since he wasn't even there for that attack. Watch more.
This individual caused mass destruction in your office too.
Yeah, after he was denied access to more staff members he could hurt, he turned his fury on the office itself, and a lot of broken glass, destroyed computers, some furniture.
Luckily, a staffer was able to call 911, and within minutes, police arrived and took down the suspect with a taser. The father of the suspect that you see here tells CNN his son is mentally ill and that he has not taken his medication for schizophrenia in several months. The congressman says the suspect had previously contacted his office for help with some sort of issue and had made bizarre statements to staff.
So he's had connection at some point, at least, with Connolly's office, and maybe they're aware of some of the things he was saying. But there's a little bit more, because then once they did also know that, Connolly points out a lack of security, which is something I had no idea was happening to the degree for maybe a prominent congressman. Let's watch that.
This individual caused mass destruction in your office too.
Yeah, after he was denied access to more staff members he could hurt, he turned his fury on the office itself, and a lot of broken glass, destroyed computers, some furniture. I haven't been able to get there because it's a crime scene.
We've seen this happen with Nancy Pelosi's house, Steve Scalise shooting. I mean, what does this tell you about how vulnerable members of Congress are?
I think we're going to have to reassess the security we provide or don't provide district offices. So if you're a member of Congress and your office happens to be in the federal building, the courthouse, you're going to have security. But if you're in a commercial office space like me, you have no security, none. And what could go wrong with that? Well, we learned the answer to that question this morning.
Mm-hmm. Found the answer to that question. I don't know, maybe I'm a sucker. Maybe I don't know what general security is supposed to be for a congressman, especially in the type of political climate that we have right now, Trey. But this whole story's gone crazy. And by the way, they did determine, at least specifically from Connolly's office as well, it was not, and under their assumption, a politically motivated attack. Right. Like this conservative MAGA person was coming after Connolly because he's a Democrat, but it seemed a bit of a mental health crisis.
Yeah, I was just about to clarify that with you, because that's what I thought. It wasn't like a Pelosi's husband thing. It's just like this guy wasn't doing it to stop the woke mind virus or whatever. He's doing it because like the demons told him to do it or something, right? Like this guy's just, not in a good way, and probably should be under someone's supervision. I mean, if he's gonna be violently attacking congressmen or anybody. But yeah, it does make it different though than, if it was politically motivated. You hear stories sometimes, I feel like, about like people like Bernie or whatever, about how, man, the people that just like, you can just see them just walking around Burlington sometimes or whatever and stop and talk to them and that kind of thing. And I've always thought that was pretty wild. I mean, a lot of the Congress people and senators are, lower profile. So maybe, that's not as surprising, but especially like you said, in the climate we live in, you'd think that also because of all the other amenities that they get and everything and all the things that they have available to them that regular people don't, you'd think they would have made it a point by now to make, taxpayer dollars pay for personal bodyguards or something. I'm kind of stunned that they haven't done that. It definitely seems like something they would have done.
There was something that stuck out to me, because look, there was a mental health crisis. There was issues going with it. He took a bat there as well and assaulted a couple of folks and tried getting to more people. fine. It's a political, it's a congressman's office and surrounding him in this story. Number one, there was a bat. No one is dead. People who maybe are suffering a mental health crisis and they go and grab a huge semi-automatic rifle and run up into a place, they will shoot and kill a bunch of folks. And people always say, oh yeah, you know what? It's the people that do it, not the guns. Apparently in this situation, it's the guns, because if he had one, though, at least those two people that he attacked would be dead. Completely torn apart by that weapon. That then we'd say, who would have thought? Thoughts and prayers. That then they would have said, we have to do something about this mental health crisis going on in our country. Because of course, everyone that suffers from these types of crises are the ones who carry out these shootings. And then after saying that, they'll do nothing about it and actually won't have any approach to this or address the problem that they deem being the problem. Because of course, there's probably less access to health care, which this should fall under in this country too. So you'll say one thing and then not do anything actually about it. I just want to point those two things.
Well, that's chapter 1 of their playbook there. That last thing you said, saying one thing and then not doing anything about anything. But yeah, they'll make points. Sometimes there'll be like a mass knife attack in some other country or something, and they'll point to that and be like, see, it can happen there too. But like almost all the time in those mass knife attacks, the casualties are way lower. Like a bunch of people get stabbed, but fewer people die. Whereas if that person had an AR, it'd be a different story. But they just conveniently ignore all that. And it's like there's this old Eddie Izzard bit where he's like, they say guns don't kill people, people do. But I think the gun helps. He's like, he's like, monkeys don't generally kill people. Monkey with a gun, I don't know, like
it can happen, right?
Yeah, right. You give a monkey a gun, you don't want to be in the same room with him. So I mean, yeah, the gun's definitely playing more of a factor than people want to act like it is. I mean, if a maniac's gonna bust in your room and filled with violent rage, you'd rather him be holding a bat than, Kalashnikov or whatever. I think most of us would agree with that. But
100%. It's also why it's important when people identify these folks' motivations or whether or not it was something like this versus, hey, I'm coming after that congressman because I was told by Fox News or some other pundit that he's evil and he's out to get me for the normal things that he's trying to do. That's why I point those out. So maybe the people who are motivating these types of attacks in some of those style can chill out. But there's no money in that.
Yeah, I wouldn't hold my breath waiting on them to chill out. It's just me though.